Salve galera, vamos prosseguindo com a série de Starfield e nessa parte aqui vamos fazer a missão Testemunha Ocular. Essa aqui é a missão para a facção União das Colônias. Eu preciso me encontrar-se com Adrian em Nova Atlântida, no distrito do Tanque. Vamos para lá então. Com essas missões aqui de facção geralmente elas são um pouco mais longas, né? Deixa eu só dar uma recapitulada, galera. Eu acho que eu vou aqui na parte de facção, ó. Essa aqui vai ser a primeira missão que eu vou fazer pro... Ah, não. Eu já fiz duas aqui. Essa aqui é a terceira pra União das Colônias.
Captain, over here. The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us.
Sim, eu fiz aquela missão da... Lembra da amostra que eu peguei lá do terramorfo lá? Pra análise.
So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there. My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I am a clone.
Clone.
Of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus.
Ela é clone do Ve Victus. Lembra dessa missão que eu fiz? O cara lá numa estação espacial, ele contou a história dele. Que eu espalhei o cartaz do Ve Victus aqui no poço, né, de Nova Atlântida.
Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come. He would have happily told you he was one of the greats. Ultimately, though, it didn't matter. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death on both sides. Freestar Collective and UC. Military and civilians. And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned. I really appreciate you saying that. I just thought you deserved to know, considering how much you've done already. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty fast. Or, if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good time. No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here.
Essa aqui eu não vou perguntar nada.
Then I guess it's just a map.
Vá à câmera do gabinete.
Sounds like our cue.
Mano, eu devo estar quase evoluindo pro nível 40 e não tá faltando muito não.
Captain. Congratulations on joining the ranks of the Vanguard.
Essa mulher aqui tem o mesmo rosto daquela lá. É impressão minha? Ó. Caramba, é igual, cara, igual. Esse jogo, uma coisa que eu não gostei nele é muita repetição, cara, de cenário, de rosto dos personagens, tá ligado? É muita repetição. Apesar de eu estar gostando bastante de Starfield, cara, pra mim não chega aos pés de Fallout, velho. Essa é a minha opinião, cara. Fallout foi um trabalho muito mais bem feito, cara.
Welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
Aqui.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the Cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualties were minimal as a result. But if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Yes, a fine point, Admiral. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request made to open the
Temos
archives?
uma escolha importante aqui, ó.
I'm inclined to agree.
As am I.
I suppose that does get to the heart of the point, doesn't it? Very well. I consent. The galaxy was lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to... What was that?
Ô, louco.
An incident has occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
Incident? Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack at the spaceport.
Ih,
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanners somehow.
Ah, eu não tô muito bem de cura
There
aqui,
will
velho.
be plenty of time for conjecture. Chief Sergeant, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, man. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there.
Pegue o Nat para o espaço curto. Estação Nat. Isso é um perigo, hein, mano? Os caras estão atacando aqui Nova Atlântida, os terramorfos. A situação se agravou aqui, hein? Olha ali. O que é isso aqui, mano?
Stop! That's it! We're trying to hit him with everything you've got!
Que loucura, mano. Aquela arma que eu peguei tá mandando eu equipar ela. Foi essa aqui. Incapacitar os agressores agora. Pô, esse aqui cozinhou, velho. Pronto.
Thank God you got here when you did. I just wish it hadn't come to that.
Yet what the hell happened back there, Captain? There's no excuse for using lethal force here. Or you could have used the EM gun like you were ordered. These are lives you're playing with here. So get your head in. Now, the way those people were acting, I've seen...
I don't
Pô,
know.
achei que eu
They were down at
tinha
the port and they just started. We tried to restrain
desmaiado os caras,
them,
eu
get them on
acabei
the train,
matando,
but-
que viagem.
But some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started.
Pheromonic projection. Some terramorphs, they can induce this fog. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire, and keep that EM weapon at... Let's do it.
Tem mais isso, os terramorfos ainda controlam a mente das pessoas.
Do what you can to help them.
Mas eu tava com a arma, cara, de... Aqui, ó. Ah, foi aquele ali que morreu. Só aquele ali que morreu. Eu nem usei arma letal, né, cara? Não sei porque que acabou matando.
God, no time to waste, Captain. Stash the EM and pull some firepower. Let's move!
Pô, arrebentaram o bagulho aqui, mano, ó. Caralho, hein? Vou dar um presente pra esse aqui. Tá mexendo com a minha mente. Essa arma aqui é melhor. Parece que tá dando mais dano, hein? Olha o XP, velho. Perdemos uns guardas aqui.
Can't risk them taking over anymore. Put those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can.
O Sargento Yumi.
Heard you might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out there on your 6.
You two have any experience with terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here.
Parecia alguma coisa opcional ali.
Surviving
ver
a
o que
full-on
é o
mental assault isn't the same
que
as
apareceu.
keeping your cool in a firefight. Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us. Your call. We're on the line.
Aqui, ó. Opcional, sim, ó. Opcional era falar com o esquadrão. Agora tem mais terramorfos aqui pra eliminar, galera. Deixa eu salvar aqui. Pô, será que tem 2 ainda? Fizeram estrago aqui, cara. Inventaram tudo. Gostou, hein? Estourei o propano ali, dá um dano legal nele. Tô de novo escutando uma voz. Ei, caralho. Evolui. Até foi bom não pegar a ajuda ali dos guardas ali, porque ia ter o risco deles morrerem, né? Mas a desvantagem é que o cara acaba perdendo mais munição, né? Tem mais um ainda aqui, ó. Esse aqui é nível 24. É só como essa arma aqui é fraca contra eles. Vou usar essa escopeta aqui. Escopeta dá um dano muito ruim neles, cara. Esse aqui é um pouco melhor. Toma. O XP tá ótimo, cara, nessa fase aqui, nessa missão.
Nice work, Captain.
O que eu tenho que fazer agora? Voltar e falar com o Sargento Yumi. Agora esse conselho deve ter se cagado depois de ter me negado os dados, né, que eu pedi.
Guess they weren't kidding about you two. Universe put the right people in the right place.
Like hell it is. I don't want to think what would have happened if you two hadn't been here.
Just glad we could rise to the occasion. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Ok, tudo normalizado em Nova Atlântida.
Attention. The spaceport has been secured. Safety precautions remain in place. Please wait for the all clear signal before exiting your homes. That is all.
Será que vai ficar... Nova Atlântida vai ficar do jeito que tava ou vai ficar com esses escombros aí? Essa destruição aí na cidade? Seria legal deixar um pouco destruída, né?
How the hell do Terramorphs get into the
That's a
ceiling?
relief to hear. Thank you, gentlemen.
Heroes
Captain,
were minted down at that
Hadrian,
spaceport.
it would appear that the Cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today. As well as an apology.
Antes tarde do que nunca.
Your concerns about the Terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
On the right. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, Today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the Cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the Terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the Cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The Cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative. We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us?
Será que eu vou ganhar a cidadania de Nova Atlântida? Posso ter tem a opção de comprar casa também se eu quiser.
I'm glad to hear it. Now, we of course won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. You're dismissed.
Ótimo, missão concluída.
I'm gonna go check in with
Vai dar um XP bom ainda, hein, mano.
Start getting a plan together for that data.
Atualizou agora a missão, ó. Com amigos assim, ó. Não sei se eu trago ela na próxima parte, acho que eu vou... Não sei se eu dou andamento a uma dessas duas aqui. Essa missão aqui não vai ser... Eu não vou conseguir gravar na série, galera, porque é o seguinte... Essa missão aqui, tipo, sempre quando eu vou fazendo um acontecimento importante no jogo, a gente vai até lá e relata, né, a notícia, tipo, pro canal de notícia aqui, principal aqui do game, né, que é tipo uma estação de TV, né, de notícias. Mas então é isso, eu vou ver que missão eu trago aí na próxima parte. Obrigado a todos que acompanharam mais uma gameplay da série de Starfield. Falou!